Hi, this is Dawn Hammer with the Puyallup Post. We're here today at the Puyallup Police Department. We're going to be speaking to some members of the force about their time at Pierce College and see how it led them to their careers that they have today. All right, so how long have you been with the Puyallup Police Department?
I've been here for 10 years.
I've been with the Puyallup Police Department for 35 years.
22 years I've been here.
So as a patrol officer, what do you do?
I patrol the city. I currently work the southern district of the city, which is up in South Hill, the mall,
Okay.
Pierce College, that area up there. And just respond to calls, look for suspicious incidents, things of that nature.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize it, but Puyallup has a 52-bed correctional facility, and I am the corrections lieutenant of that facility.
Okay, so are you sort of overseeing all of the management of those 52 beds and the people who may need to inhabit them for a short time?
Jail operations.
Got it, okay. Tamara, go ahead and tell me, what is your role as a sergeant with the police department?
Okay, yeah, like I said, I'm a sergeant and currently assigned to patrol. As an officer or a sergeant here, you have the opportunity to rotate among different assignments or different units.
Oh.
So I have been a patrol sergeant and I'm back in patrol, but I've also been a major crimes unit sergeant.
And then, what do you think, before we kind of get into some of the stuff regarding Pierce College, what do you think is the best part of your job? Like, what do you look forward to the most?
Oh, helping people for sure.
Okay. Do you have any specific examples of a time that really stand out?
Well, I guess I can give you a recent example. It just happened yesterday. So I'm on bike patrol as well here.
Okay.
So I was on bike patrol and I did a traffic stop on a vehicle with expired tabs, and it was kind of an elderly lady, and she had a little girl in the back seat, and I noticed she wasn't in a child seat, which she was kind of borderline, probably needed to be in like a booster type thing.
Okay.
So I stopped her, I talked to her, and she kind of explained the situation, and I happened to have an extra booster seat in the back of my car that was back at Walmart. I had stopped her over at the mall. So I told her, you know what, I'm gonna give you a verbal warning. If you're willing to come back with me, follow me over there, and I'll give you a booster seat so that she's safe. And she agreed, and she went over and she did that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Now, why did you have an extra booster seat in your car?
That's a funny story. I'm not the tallest person in the department, obviously, and someone thought it would be funny to play a joke on me and put it in my driver's seat, so I put the good use.
How fortuitous.
Yeah.
They had no idea how that was going to be used.
Yep,
I can
exactly.
relate to the whole not being very tall.
Right.
So on the flip side of that, what do you think is the most challenging part of your job?
That's a good question. I mean, dealing with, I guess, people that are in crisis for the most part
Okay.
is probably the hardest, because you just don't know what to expect a lot of the time. Especially domestic violence situations, things of that nature, where it's just very volatile and emotions are high, and trying to communicate with people that are very high, I mean, in a state of crisis is not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. And how do you guys get trained up for that?
We have a state mandated crisis training every year that we have to do, and then there's also voluntary stuff, like we have a 40-hour course that we can go to if we choose, or there's other crisis intervention training, specialist training you can sign up to go to.
Got it.
So.
Are there people in the force that you feel like kind of head down that path of the voluntary training that kind of become more specialists in that area? Because I feel like that's probably, it is a specialized area.
It is,
almost.
yeah, and that's something that's just kind of more recent, and there's a few of us that have chosen to go that route and kind of embrace that.
Okay. Are you one of those people who are doing the volunteer?
Actually, I just finished a certified crisis intervention specialist training. It's a national certification through NAMA, which is the National Association of Anger Management.
Okay.
So they put it on, but it's good.
Yeah,
I
that's
enjoy
fantastic.
it. Yeah.
And so you can volunteer for that, and then you also have the mandated ones that the entire force, I'm
Correct.
assuming, has to go through.
Yeah, every law enforcement officer in the state goes to.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I do understand that you attended Pierce College, and how long ago was that?
So I started when I was active duty stationed at JBLM, and I started in 2003.
Oh, okay.
And then I came off, I did some things, went to some deployments, came back, and I got off active duty status in 2006, and I continued through there. And then I finished up in 2007 at the Lakewood campus.
Got it. Okay. Any particular professors or classes that stand out as having been really impactful, either positively or negatively?
No, there is. I just cannot remember his name.
Yeah. What did he
He was
do?
one of my psychology teachers over at the Lakewood campus.
At the
I
first
took
level.
yeah, I took a few courses with him. So
Okay.
yeah, I just can't remember his dang name. It's been a while.
How did
11
that
years.
impact you though? Like, what was it that was memorable?
I always had an interest in psychology, so that kind of it helped. He was just a great professor, from what I remember. He was very knowledgeable. He had a PhD in psychology, and it helps when you're interested in something, I guess, to
Yeah.
like what you're doing. So
Absolutely.
it kind of helped, yeah.
And so it sounds like you've always had that interest in psychology. Do you think that's helping drive this interest in taking like these specialized classes?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
You're trying to figure out maybe the mindset of the people
Right.
that you're responding
I think it
to.
helps, yeah. If you can try and
Yeah.
understand where they're coming from, then it helps you respond a little bit differently than kind of the average officer who doesn't get that stuff does.
Sure. Do you feel like it helps you with like an empathy sort of aspect?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing in crisis intervention is trying to empathize with someone and understand where they're coming from, because if they're always coming from somewhere, whether you
Right.
understand it or not, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fantastic. So when you were in Pierce, were you juggling family, work, things like that while you were there?
Yeah, I was working full-time as a loss prevention manager at a retail store at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and wife, and I had 2 kids at the time. So yeah, it was a full load for
So
sure.
it's that full load. And how
Mhm.
did you balance that successfully?
Well, it's probably debatable whether or not it's very successful or not. But I was able, I mean, it was difficult. I mean, it was a lot of just, staying up late and studying for exams and that sort of thing, which is, I think, probably typical of,
You're
of
fine.
most high school or college students.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you just get through it. It's all about, I think, just motivation and the drive to finish something. And
Right.
I'm the first college graduate in my family,
Okay.
and yeah, just something that I've always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was that an extra challenge for you being the first generation college graduate? Like, was that talked about in your household or anything?
Yeah, it was. I don't know that I'd call it a challenge. I think it was more just a motivating factor in wanting
Got
to
it.
do it and finish it and get it done,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Yeah.
And you mentioned kids.
Mhm.
How old are your kids now?
I have 5 now.
Wow, busy.
Yes, so they're between the ages of 2 and 7.
Wow, very
So they're all,
busy.
yes, exactly. It's like a daycare in my house. For sure.
And so how do you balance that with this job?
Well, a lot of help from my wife, for one, because she also works full time. So, I mean, it's definitely busy. So, I mean, I'm just with her and myself. I'm in the National Guard too.
Okay.
I'm at 20 years in January full time. I mean, with military service, and she's also in the reserves, and then works full time. So,
Wow.
lots of help from friends and with in daycare, of
Yes.
course.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's
It
very
takes a
interesting.
village.
It's very busy.
Yeah.
Very.
And is that something you feel like now that you are the first generation graduate, are you going to be kind of pushing for that route with your kids?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Because I mean, yeah, I think education is very important, and the higher, the better, in my opinion. So that's
Mhm.
definitely a drive, is to have them to continue. And I mean, Pierce College is a great start. It helped me a lot and pushed me to go further in my education, and it's a baseline for everything. And if you can't do it right there, then you're going to struggle for sure.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like you felt like you had a pretty positive experience when you were at Pierce.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you go on to a university after that?
I did. I did a general transfer degree too, and I transferred to WSU, and I
Oh,
did
okay.
their online program while I was doing this full time.
Wow.
And yeah, I graduated from there in 2015, and I actually just graduated with a master's degree from Liberty University just this last May.
Wow,
So,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so your educational path has been long and fruitful.
Very long.
Yes. I feel like that's sort of
37 years long.
Yeah, I feel like that's the direction a lot of us are heading though now. Like you just kind of spread it out
Yeah.
and you do it as you can as you're balancing family and work and everything
Right.
else.
Yeah. I mean, I was in no rush. It was very slow. A lot of times it was like just one class a semester, just
Mhm.
so I'm still doing something and stepping
Mhm.
a little bit forward. So
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. That's great. And then Just to, as we start to wrap up, if you had to in one word, could you sum up what you view your role to be in the community here through the police department? It can be more than one word if that's too restricting.
It's a lot to sum up. I would say, I guess community service is a big thing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think overall, that's what we do here, is we're here to help the community. Yes, that can be construed a lot of different ways. I mean, how you're helping, some people aren't gonna view what we're doing for them as helping them at the time, but there are times when they come back later and they said, hey, being arrested was the best thing that ever happened to me. So that's always good to hear too, so that's what I would say.
Community service.
Mhm.
That's great. And so, following up with that actually kind of leads into my last question. What do you think we as a community need to know about the police department that maybe is getting misconstrued or is getting missed in the narrative? And I think especially today,
Yes.
right? There's a lot of negative media portrayal. Some of it probably warranted, some of it not. So if there was a message you could put out to the community members along that line of you saying, well, it's really community service what we're doing. Like, is there something we should know or that you would want to say to us as a community?
Sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing to convey to the general public that doesn't know a lot about even what we do is that just don't believe everything you see in the news. And yes, it's true that the saying's true, it takes one apple to spoil the whole bunch.
Right.
But that being said, that's the same in any line of work.
Mm-hmm.
And the vast majority of everyone in this profession are good people, and they're out here to, just like I am, to help people and to do the right thing. And that, I mean, just don't be so quick to judge, I guess, is the big thing. It's just the same as we're expected not to be that way,
Right.
to stereotype people by what we see, and we give them the benefit of the doubt as much as possible.
Yeah.
That it's nice to have that reciprocated.
Absolutely. I think a good sort of life rule in general is don't believe everything you read or see in the media.
And just a general life rule, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have nothing else. That was wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.